Hi, I'm Gregory Blair, and this is Tools, Not Rules, Tips for Screenwriters. Hi, I'm Gregory Blair, and welcome to episode 1 of Tools, Not Rules, Tips for Screenwriters. Keep it colorful. What does that mean? Well, obviously it means you want to have fresh, original, interesting writing, from your characters to your storylines to the very words that you choose to put on the page. You want to choose words that are colorful, interesting, and fresh. So, for example, when you're talking about things that we see with the eye, woman is tall and pretty, let's say. That's what you want to get across. Well, tall and pretty are overused, boring words. You want to say maybe she is statuesque. That's not as common a word, and it's eye-catching and it's clear as well. If a guy is short and fat, again, short and fat are words that are overused. Maybe say he's stumpy. Stumpy basically means short and fat. We get the same idea, but you used a more interesting word. Even things like colors. Never say red, or try not to say red, when you could say crimson, or rose, or burgundy. And the reason I say that in this particular case, for example, is not only is red overused and those other words are used less, but each one of them has its own color of a red, its own timbre, its own feeling. One may be more appropriate for what you're describing. If you say crimson, that's bright blood red. So if you're describing blood, for example, crimson is a great color. Or if you give a woman crimson lipstick, that tells us something. It's a very bold, bright color. It tells us something about her, its characterization, just by that word choice. If you choose rose, rose is sort of, we think of a softer, warmer, more gentle kind of a color. So that tells us something. If you say burgundy, that's a rich, dark, kind of earthy, reddish tone. So the specific word that you use, not only will it be more interesting than boring old red, but it will give us a really clear and fresh image that's more specific and tells us more. So that's what I mean when I say keep it colorful as far as the eye goes. Now let's talk about the ear. Word choices for the ear usually involve elements that are poetic. Think of alliteration, assonance, onomatopoeia, even using incomplete sentences at times. You don't want to overdo any of that, of course, but using it is always kind of delicious. So I'm going to give you an example here. Okay, so we're writing a thriller, horror. That's kind of the tone, the genre. So what we're writing is, eyes wide with horror, she inches forward. The floorboards creak. She freezes, breath held, listens. Okay, all of those are not complete sentences. We all know complete sentences have verbs and nouns, and we're not doing that here. We're breaking that rule. But what we have is the first sentence is the longest sentence, and then they keep getting shorter. The next sentence is only 3 words, then 2 words, 1 word. Things are getting smaller and smaller and closer and closer and shorter and shorter. We're trying to build tension, right? So we're doing it just with the number of words in each sentence. Then we have eyes wide, that assonance of that I sound, that's a big eyes wide with horror. It comes down, okay? There's sort of that feeling. And then horror and forward and floorboards. We're using assonance again, it must actually rhyme, to sort of echo this sound, because it's like the steps forward as she's moving forward. We repeat that, or, Then the onomatopoeia of creak, of course. So we hear that creak. Then she freezes. So that's more assonance there, that E sound, which almost is like the creak, creak, she freezes. Then breath held, again, more assonance. And listens, that last part there, freezes, breath held, listens. It sounds like a heartbeat. Freezes, breath held, listens. And that's very appropriate for something when something is scary. We can feel our heartbeat, hear our heartbeat. You don't even mention it, and yet it's there unconsciously in your writing. So in other words, use fresh, interesting words and phrases and poetic elements, and you will elevate your writing into something really fresh, exciting, engaging, and interesting. I hope that helps. So keep on writing, keep it colorful.